how could I ever be insecure? I was the snowflake queen.
Yeah. 2 years ago when you were socially relevant.
I am still socially relevant.
And when you didn't need laxatives to stay skinny.
I am going to eat your soul.
You only murdered boys. I go both ways.
I'm Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm A.O. Scott of the New York Times. From Cat People to Carrie and beyond, anxiety about female sexuality has fueled the horror movie genre. Much of the time, that anxiety is explored by men. But Jennifer's Body, with Megan Fox as a high school mean girl possessed by a demon, tackles the subject from a frankly, if somewhat ambiguously feminist point of view. Which is not to say that the guys in this movie don't have reason to be scared.
This isn't really your house, is it?
No, baby. This is our house. Just for you and me. You can play mommy and daddy.
No way.
Jennifer's Body was directed by Karen Kusama, whose debut film was the tough and tender girl fight. The screenwriter is Diablo Cody, author of Juno, and her hallmark idiom of punning self-conscious teen speak is on display throughout Jennifer's Body, sometimes to distracting effect.
They took her in their spooky van with the windows all blacked out.
Did you get the make and model?
I don't know, Chip, an 89 rapist? She's still in there. We have to go find her.
People just burned to death.
Jesus Christ, there's somebody here.
There's certainly problems with this movie beyond the abrasive Diablo-isms. Jennifer's pre-demonic personality isn't well enough established, and some of the fright scenes are mishandled. But Amanda Seyfried is terrific as Needy, Jennifer's unlikely best friend and the real protagonist of the film. Needy and Jennifer are rivals, confidants, and perhaps something more as well.
I couldn't bring myself to hurt you. I mean, I'm a really good friend.
Leave.
Come on, Needy, let me stay the night. We can play boyfriend-girlfriend like we used to. I'm not gonna bite you.
As I've said, this movie has its flaws, and it's likely to get kicked around by some critics, not naming any names. But I think it has real integrity, and also a good chance at becoming something of a teenage cult favorite. So I say, see it.
Now, Tony, you're reviewing the film that you wish you had seen. This is a big disappointment. I think Diablo Cody's, big talent coming off Juno, which I liked a lot more than a lot of people, and I didn't find the dialogue distractingly arch. I just thought it was very clever. And here, I just feel like she's never really found the voice, as you've already identified, among many of the problems you already identified with the picture, and yet mysteriously defending it. I think, she's never figured out how to make Jennifer anything more than just sort of a horror movie trope. And I got to say one thing, Megan Fox, look, one of the worst actresses in Hollywood.
But the movie's not about Jennifer. Excuse me, it's not about Jennifer. It's Jennifer's body. It's not Jennifer's soul. The soul of the movie belongs to Amanda Seyfried, who's wonderful.
She is good.
And that character is a really interesting take on a teenage girl in crisis. And I think she does that, as she did in the show Big Love, in a way that's surprising and unusual. And I think the movie goes to some very interesting places. It's not always in control of itself or of its themes, but I think it has a lot to say.
But you're making it sound a lot more stimulating than it is, because I just think it's really kind of watery. And look, this is an action sequence coming up here, climax of the film, and this director does not know which way to play it.
Why don't you just come here and kiss me again?
I don't know. I thought that scene was kind of beautiful in a strange and haunting way. And I think there's a lot in this movie that's sort of interesting and offbeat and a little messy, but fascinating. It reminded me of another movie, a kind of a teenage movie that was passed over by a lot of critics, but that held on to a cult that grew over the year, which was Donnie Darko.
A much more interesting film, that one. This film, Jennifer's Body, only goes halfway towards satire, halfway sincere. And look,